Order fire, one bravos, one rabbit.
Lita is an Iberian restaurant with an ambitious goal to change the restaurant model and to kind of modernize and give people an authentic feel of what it is to eat in Portugal and Spain.
Fries going in.
What makes Lita special is our hybrid work model. We hire 12 chefs here at Lita, 6 work in the dining room, and then 6 work in the kitchen. And every week, those 2 teams of 6 switch places. So one week you'll come in at 11 o'clock in the morning, you'll set your station up, you'll mise en place, you'll work service and go home. And then the following week you'll come in at 3 in the afternoon and you'll set the dining room and then work the floor. It's an opportunity to get rid of the pay divide between the front and back of house. We are polished, not pretentious. We try to get people in the door to take care of them, take care of the details, but without assuming that they should know that we're fine dining. Lita is located in a strip mall in Aberdeen, New Jersey. It's a very rural town, but I like the dichotomy. I like that when you walk through the doors, you smell the food on the hearth. There's this cozy, intimate space in this building, and you have, an opportunity to transport yourself to almost like the middle of New York City with the level of care and the level of food that you're gonna be getting when you're on the inside. Here at Lita, we have a prefix menu, so it's divided into 3 courses. One is an opening bite. It's kind of when we were in Spain, you do like a little bar crawl, you get a beer and something that you can hold in your hands, and that's the first course. So right now we're gonna be doing one of the steps for our Rissóis. Rissóis is a shrimp turnover hot pocket, I like to call it. It's my mom's recipe. It's a very celebratory dish. It's something that was always out when we were kids. Every special occasion was an opportunity for my mom to make these little shrimp pockets. And right now we're gonna make a pot of choux dough. So we're gonna start with water, olive oil, salt, and then we're gonna add flour. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna cook out the flour until it forms a dough ball. We usually get about 100 Rissóis out of 1 batch of dough. Basically, the dish is like a shrimp bisque and a hot pocket had a baby. We want something really creamy, really rich in the filling of this bechamel. So we're gonna melt butter, we're gonna add onions to it. And we're just gonna really slowly sweat this onion out. Then we're gonna add Portuguese bay leaves, lots of flour, milk, tomato paste, and then a lot of shrimp. One last taste, adjust for seasoning, and then we're gonna get it out of this pot. We're gonna spread out thin over the sheet tray and go in the walk-in with it so that, it cools as fast as possible. Hot quarter. Now we have our pat of choux dough. We're gonna cut off pieces of this dough. We're gonna roll it through the pasta roller, and then we're gonna lay out nice flat strips of dough. We took the bechamel that we made with the shrimp, we cooled it, and now we stuck it in a pastry bag. And now we have all the dough rolled out of our pat of choux. Basically, it would be like making ravioli. So you see we're being super generous with the amount. We want every pocket to be full to the brim. There's a lot of shrimp, a lot of bechamel, a lot of filling. Gotta make mom proud. She comes in regularly to eat and always orders one of these and always will let me know if it's not up to her standard. It's been a very long time since I've disappointed her when it comes to these, so mom's happy. So just like you would a ravioli, a little water and a paintbrush so that the dough sticks closed. So now we're squeezing out all the air out of the pocket so that they're nice and flush and full. If there's air in the pocket, it might explode in the fryer. They're gonna be breaded next, and then they'll fry to order. So it's 10 a.m., the kitchen's really quiet. I always think that it's important for chefs to be in the kitchen like a meditative time before the whole staff gets in. So I plan out my day, I have my coffee, I do a meditative process, like make pasta. This is one of my favorite things to do. And it gets my day all started before any kind of possible chaos can happen. We're gonna be making 4 batches of this pasta. That'll get us through the next few days. This dish is particularly special to me. It is my son's favorite dish. I make this once a week at home. We don't need fresh pasta at home. My son likes the Barilla spaghetti, but we do fresh pasta here at the restaurant, and it's a stewed Portuguese chicken dish. So this pasta comes on our 2nd course of our menu, and it's called Galinha da Avó, means grandma's chicken. This is a straightforward Italian recipe. The only thing that really makes it a little different is I put a little bit of paprika, turmeric, saffron. Some of the flavors that are in the stew are now gonna go into this pasta. When the dough looks like sand like this, it means it's not properly hydrated yet for what we want. You want it to be a little tighter than that, still too sandy. So what was before really sandy in the bowl, you see this, how it all like kind of got bigger up the sides? That's great. This is perfect. And I can already tell how clumpy. It didn't fall like sand, it's clumped into bigger chunks. Right now I'm just kneading it into a nice little ball, just finishing up the dough process. And now I vacuum seal it and it instantly rests the dough. It normally rested would take about an hour in the fridge. You put a damp towel over it in a bowl. You just need time to relax the gluten that's formed from rolling it. Vacuum sealing force pressurizes that relaxation, hydrates it instantly. So it's ready to go.
2 albonigas, Camarão, and a pasta.
Mike Ior is a great example of finding someone who loves what they do and who knows how to nurture and take care of people. That is the ideal leader you want in any space.
We have a Branzino here. We got it delivered today from our purveyor, Local 130 Seafood. So what I want to do is debone it completely and keep the spine intact so that both fillets are still there with the skin on and all. The skin, in my opinion, is the best part. It's crispy, it's got like that layer of fat underneath it. When these fish live in cold water, that layer of fat is super important to keep them warm. And that layer of fat, as everybody knows, fat carries flavor. So that's gonna be like the best bite in my opinion.
There's something about charcoal and its ability to really make things crispy, really adds to this dish. It adds a textural component to this dish and it really makes it like really stand out.
This is a super important dish to our menu because it's something that is eaten in many Portuguese homes.
Portugal's a seafaring society, so fish is a huge part of the Portuguese diet.
So the reason why we keep the spine intact is because what I'm filleting right now is gonna be one whole portion. So you get one whole fish with your order. The next step is air drying. Personally, I always want my sear side to be as dry as possible. So I leave them in the refrigerator on this sheet tray uncovered so it can dry out with the moving air. We roast it over the hearth, over the coals, skin side down, so it gets really nice and crispy. To me, it's a very simple dish, which is in and of itself exciting. I think simplicity is absolutely key when representing a culture.
We're gonna go into one of the most important ingredients in the entire restaurant. I would say it is the lifeblood of our restaurant. So it's sofrito. A lot of cultures have it. It is a aromatic blend of vegetables that become the baseline of stews and our paella and our pasta dish as well. We start with a good amount, a very generous amount of Portuguese olive oil. Very, very proud of using Portuguese olive oil. I think it's some among the best olive oil in the world. It's like a swimming pool of olive oil. The fat becomes the spinal cord of flavor for the whole dish. The onions and the peppers and the tomatoes and the garlic and the shallots, they're all very flavorful, but that's not, they're gonna infuse the oil, which is the oil is what's gonna be like going throughout the dish. We make sofrito every single day. We make it in large batches. The young chefs in our kitchen are responsible for working on their knife skills. And this is how they do it, by dicing up onions, using tomatoes on the box grater, peeling and dicing peppers. I used to always joke that for a recipe of how to cook 1 clove of garlic, I'd still use 3. That's how I feel about garlic. I think every Jersey boy feels that way about garlic. We wanna make sure that our sofrito is consistently delicious, weighed out, and ready to go. So we want it to be elevated. It's not something we're buying frozen. It's not something that we think of as a afterthought. It's gonna be in so many of our dishes. It's gotta be a high priority, important thing that we do every day. Yeah, I'm gonna let this rock here for like 2 hours. When you go to culinary school, you learn, French technique and, a broken sauce, like when olive oil separates and is no longer homogeneous, it's considered a flaw. It's something was misdone. And I remember, I was in culinary school when my grandmother was still alive, and I was watching her cook. I'm like, oh, you broke that sauce, like, I'm like correcting her. This poor woman have the patience of the saint, tolerating this brash 20-year-old telling her that she's doing something wrong that she's been doing her whole life. But then, you know, this Sofrito will only be done when there's a big layer of olive oil on top. Like when this is broken, when all the moisture has been driven from the vegetables, when there's nothing left but the flavor, concentrated flavor, so much so that the oil has nowhere else to go but like a nice layer on top, that's when we know it's done. Exactly like my grandmother was doing, exactly the way I was correcting her, telling her that she was doing something wrong. Now, you know, 20 years later, she was so right.
So this is Chris, Randy, and Manny. They're breaking down whole chickens, and they're gonna be turning them into half chickens that are on our menu. We have two items that get half chicken. One is our Frango Assado, which is a half chicken roasted over the hearth, deboned except for the wing, and it also goes in a paella, chicken chorizo paella. Randy and Manny, as soon as they started working together on the hearth, gave themselves the nickname, the Hearth-throbs. Everybody loves to stare at the hearth when they're sitting at their tables. So it's fun to like be able to talk to a table and be like, those guys over there, the Hearth-throbs? Yeah, they're killing it right now. After we butcher the chicken, we're gonna go right into making our brine. We have a pineapple brine, it's about a 5% salt ratio. It's a house brine. We use it for everything we brine, which is the porco secreto and the half roast chicken. So 4 cans of pineapple juice, and we're gonna go right into a hot pot. Pineapple has an enzyme in it that helps break proteins down, and that's gonna help the chicken be more tender throughout. So we use this brine, this pineapple brine, for both our chicken and our pork dish. This is gonna come up to a simmer just so that everything marries, the garlic in there cooks and releases all of its flavor. We don't wanna overcook this. We really just wanna dissolve the salt, the sugar, and bring out the flavors of everything, the dry spices that are in there. As soon as that comes to essentially a boil, we're gonna take it right off, we're gonna strain it, and put it in an ice bath to cool it as fast as possible.
So it's 2 o'clock right now. We're fully in prep mode. The kitchen team is working around the island. So we have an open kitchen into the dining room. And what I love about the island is that it gives us an opportunity, one, to work together. And as a chef, I get to see how people are working, what they're doing, and it's an opportunity to prevent mistakes.
To be perfectly candid, honestly, I've never worked in a restaurant kitchen that had a window. To be able to work in a room where the sun hits is truly a blessing.
When we were opening up Lita, the landlord had another space next door that came like halfway through our project. So we opened up a speakeasy, kind of like a secret little bar next door that kind of came on after the fact. It's called La Otra, which is the other woman, which is a nicer way of saying, you know, the person on the side. So there we have a much more casual approach to what we're doing. Think of New Jersey with Iberian flair. We also have an Iberian burger made with Iberian pork, served with a crispy piece of pancetta, roasted peppers, a saffron aioli. It's a pretty badass burger.
This is Chef Nick. He just started with us last week. He's been a chef and a butcher for a long time, and he just started in the kitchen this week. He was on the front of house last week, so he's gonna show you guys how we make our paella rice. This is the base of all of our paellas. All of paellas really is this this rice. It's similar to an arborio rice. It's like a short grain, heavy with the starch, and we don't rinse it. So we go right into the rice cooker, equal parts water to rice, and a little bit of called GGS, garlic, ginger, and shallot. And then we have some spice mix and salt.
We're doing a triple batch for dinner service right now. We actually make a few of these because we fly through so much paella. And the nice thing about the rice cooker, you get to just set her down and she's ready. And then take her out, break her down, throw some more salt, a little garlic oil in there, season her up a little bit.
I made the pasta balls earlier today. This is the second half of that dish, what goes hand in hand with the pasta. We're doing grandma's chicken now. Chef David Chapo, he's been here since day one of our original members who signed up for this really experimental version of a restaurant. We go out of our way to teach chefs how to anticipate people's needs, how to go above and beyond, how to kind of read people and learn what they're trying to get out of this experience.
So guys, what we're gonna be making now is the cacciatore. One of my favorite things about Lita is the fact that we're not sedentary in the places where we're working. So right now I'm prepping the saute station. So this is my responsibility for the week. However, I'll be on the floor shortly to be doing the front of the house stuff as well. One of my favorite things about the place, you really get to see the customer reaction and then complete like the hospitality experience. It's not like you're locked away in the back kitchen, you don't even see the guests or anything like that.
I think there's a huge response from the diners in this building when they find out that the person guiding them through the evening is a chef. There's lots of moments from the chef who's serving you actually came up with the dish that's in front of you. That's a really cool moment.
The cooking process for the chicken does not finish when we're browning it in the pan. It finishes when we're braising it in the sauce itself. Once the ginger and garlic starts to brown, I add my onions. The water that's released from the onions will stop the browning on the garlic and ginger. Cooking and doing the front of the house floor work, it gives me a great insight because I'm able to relate to the guests exactly what it is that we're doing, and then I'm gonna know what they're looking for too. It's like I have an intimate knowledge of the food that we're putting out here. So I just have a white wine here. I'm gonna add about half a bottle. And then this is gonna cook down. I'm basically gonna wait for this to cook down until it's almost dry. But once that's done, add everything else in, we put the chicken back in, and we're ready to rock.
I think this is for the lifer chef, right? Someone who's an industry lifer. I do think that there should be homes for chefs that pay them a living wage, that give them quality of life and balance, and not every day going to the same station, to the same spot, standing in front of a hearth that's 900 degrees day after day after day, week after week. We deserve that balance to take care of our loved ones and do the errands that we normally had to reserve for one day of the week that we weren't necessarily doing those things. Every future iteration, every restaurant that I open up will have this model. I believe in it. I think our industry needs it. This is the dough we rolled out first thing this morning. We're getting ready to roll it into spaghetti. We go to the number 5 on our roller. So I do like a little bit of a thicker spaghetti. You can see a nicely well-rested dough. You don't have to manipulate it too much. Once through every level. If you take a look at our Sofrito here, you can see how oily it is on top. It's got this like oil slick on top. And this is what I was telling my grandmother she didn't do correctly, that this wasn't a homogeneous dish, that the French don't let any sauces break. But ultimately, this is exactly what you're looking for. This shows that there's no more moisture left in this, that everything, all the sugars are caramelized, everything is down to the most flavorful form. And that's when you know you're done. And we have this like beautiful red oil on top from the paprika and all the spices that are in there. Beautiful.
About an hour outside of service. We're getting to a point where everybody's finishing up their prep. They're setting up their stations before we go into pre-shift. We'll be in pre-shift in about 25 minutes. And at that point, family meal's up, everybody's got a plate of food, all the prep is done, stations are set up, and then we sit and we talk about the previous day, the next day, and how we can always keep improving.
We have 41 on the books for tonight, very similar service to yesterday. 45, we're about thinking of that, so up to 45.
All right, first thing of the night, guys, let's have a good one, all right? Woo! A lot of the flavors of the Iberian culture, I feel, are misrepresented here in America because we don't cook over coals very often, especially not in restaurants. So I knew from the start of this project that I was gonna have a coal-fired hearth. I thought that we would never get an authentic Iberian restaurant without it. So from day one, the charcoals are how we cook most of our proteins, and every single paella starts on the charcoal. It's how we get that socarrat and that crispy bottom of the paella rice. Something that I think is integral to the experience of having a paella. We peel rice over to show the crispy rice, so people know what's underneath. And just to make sure it's evenly crispy all the way around. Carne de porco lentejana is a very, very traditional Portuguese dish. It's like a staple country national dish. It's pork, clams, and crispy potatoes. It has a special, deeper meaning for me in that I got eliminated from Top Chef on my pork and clams dish. So this is very much a redemption dish, and it's an opportunity to show the world what this dish is supposed to taste like and how delicious it could possibly be. And I feel like I would have won that challenge if they could come and sit here at Lita.
For the fire one, bread.
Hands, please. So I just want people to leave here feeling special and feeling like the food of the Spanish Peninsula is delicious. I like that New Jersey dining is unassuming, and I think there's some really special restaurants in New Jersey, and I feel fortunate to be considered among them.